For this project I am using Loops and Threads yarn. I'm in the Charisma line, and within this line the yarn is very bulky, it's soft, it's really nice yarn. It's out of bulkiness of 5, and the colors that I am going to be using will be the charcoal and the red. I will also be using a 9mm crochet hook, and this is a USM crochet hook. I'm also going to use a pair of scissors. I'm starting off with the charcoal gray yarn, and I'm going to go ahead and put a loop in the yarn. And to loop the yarn, I just take the yarn around my finger. I push the yarn through the hole that's made, and then I pull it up, and that creates my loop. I'm going to insert my crochet hook, and then I am going to chain 16 chains. And to chain, I just wrap the yarn around the hook and I pull through. Wrap the yarn around the hook and pull through, and we're going to do that 16 times. And so I'm done with my 16 chains. And if you want your scarf to be wider than what mine is, simply add more chains to the chain. If you want it to be smaller, then stop before you get to the 16th one. Just make sure in either way you stop at an even number. Now what I'm going to do is turn my chain around, and I am going to do a single crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And when I do my single crochets, I just go right into that bottom loop there, insert my hook, I pull the yarn through, and then I'm having 2 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull my yarn through both of those loops. In the next stitch, I am going to do a double crochet. And to do a double crochet, I'm going to yarn over, I'm going into that bottom loop there again, pull the yarn through. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull the yarn through 2 of the loops. That leaves me 2 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over again, and I'm going to pull through both of those remaining loops. Now I'm going to do another single crochet in the next stitch, and I'm going into that bottom loop, pull through, yarn over, and pull it through. Now I'm going to do another double crochet, and again I'm yarning over, I'm going into that very next bottom loop, I'm going to pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through the remaining 2. Now I'm going to just alternate the single crochet and double crochets all the way across. Single, double, single, and double. And we're going to do that all the way across. You're going to end your row with a double crochet. That's why it's very important to start with an even number when you chain. We're going to chain 1, turn the yarn, and then we're going to do a single crochet right in the very first stitch, and that's the top of that double crochet. So now I'm going to do a single crochet, I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch, which is the top of that single crochet, and I'm just going to double crochet into there, and this is really going to be a really nice stitch when it's finished. And we're going to repeat this pattern till we get to the end. I'm finishing up my last stitch on the second row, and I am going to chain 1, turn, and repeat the pattern. Now I'm finishing up my third row, and I'm going to chain 1, turn, and continue the pattern. Now this is going to be the final row of gray, and then we're going to swap out to the red color. I'm at the end of row 4 now, and I'm ready to bring in my red yarn. So what I'm going to do is take the end of the red yarn, and I'm just going to leave a little tail. I'm going to lay the yarn on my crochet hook like that. And then I am going to, instead of chaining with the gray, I'm going to chain with the red. And I'm just going to pull it through. I'm going to turn my yarn. And now I'm going to do a single crochet with the red. I'm going to do a double crochet with the red. Now that I've started with the red, I'm going to continue the same pattern, a single crochet, then a double crochet, all the way across. And then I am going to do that pattern for 4 rows. So then I have a total of 8 rows when I get done. So those are my 4 rows of red. Now I'm going to go and do 4 more rows of gray. Then I'm going to change again to red. But right now what I'm going to do is go ahead and clip the ends of the gray so I can pull it through. If you want, you can leave it attached, but I'm cutting mine. I'm going to pull the gray through. Now I'm going to do a single of the gray. A double. I'm going to continue the same pattern for 4 rows. I just finished up with my final row of reds. And I am going to join the gray back in, and I'm going to do about 100 rows with the gray. I just finished my 106th row after changing back to the charcoal gray. Now I'm going to go ahead and start the red back in. I'm going to continue the same pattern that we were doing before. I'm going to do 4 rows of red, 4 rows of gray, then another 4 rows of red, and another 4 rows of gray. And that will finish off the scarf. Now I'm done with my scarf, and I went ahead and finished it off by just pulling through, and this is the tail I'm left with. I am going to weave in this tail before I start on my fringes. Also, for the pieces on the side, what I do where I change the color, I just basically make a tie. I knot it, and I knot it in. And then I am going to weave these pieces in as well. And I'm going to go ahead and do one just so you see what I'm talking about. And I'm using this needle here. And I just weave it in through the yarn. Okay. I'm going to do the same for this one. Now I'm going to finish weaving in all my ends, and then I'll be ready for the fringes. So all my ends are all weaved in, and I think it looks really nice. Even if you wanted to just leave it like this without adding the fringes to it, I think this would be a really nice scarf. But now I am ready to add my fringes. Now for the fringe. To create fringe is very simple. All you need is a book, and use the book to measure your fringe. That way your fringe is the same length all over. I'm using a paperback book, and I'm going to use the width of the book to measure my fringe. But if you want yours to be longer, then you can use the length of the book. Now I'm just going to take the end of my yarn, place it at the spine of the book. I'm going to hold it with my finger, wrap the yarn around, and then I'm going to take my scissors and cut. And that creates one fringe. You can always double up your efforts, you know, but that creates a fringe. To put the fringe on your scarf, all you need to do is have your crochet hook handy. I'm taking about 4 of the fringes that I made. I'm going to put them together. I'm going to use my crochet hook, and I'm going right into the first loop of my scarf. It's going under there. I'm going to catch the fringe right in the center, pull the yarn through, release, and then I'm going to take the ends of my fringe, put it through that loop, and pull through, and that creates my fringe. And I'm going to try to make it as tight as possible, and that creates that fringe. Now I'm going to do that in each of the loops across. These are the final fringes, and I am going to repeat these fringes on the other side. Just a few pics of the scarf. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.